Good day, and thank you for joining us for Enyimba TV News Update. First, the headlines. Senate probes hike in electricity tariff threatens sanction against power firms. IPMAN says petrol scarcity will not get to Port Harcourt and its environs. Imo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal reserves judgment. These and other stories plus foreign, business and sports news shortly. My name is Mary Ihejirika. Senate has embarked on an investigative hearing to address the surge in electricity tariffs affecting 11 states within the country. During the session, Chairman of the committee, Senator Enyinnaya Abaribe, raised the question of how customers were migrated from the previous customer classes of residential R1, R2, R3, commercial C1, C2, and demand D1, D2 to different bands. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu, while speaking, warned of a possibility of total darkness within the country if the proposed increase in electricity tariff is not implemented. When it was time for the senators to respond to the presentation of the minister, they, however, decried the experiences of Nigerians on electricity supply over the years, threatening to penalize any individual or entity found responsible for exacerbating the plight of Nigerians due to the tariff increment. Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, says the petroleum scarcity currently spread into most states across the country will be resolved within the next 5 to 10 days. This is according to the Deputy National President of the association, Zaman Mustafa, who in a chat revealed that petroleum cargoes are already on the coast berthing and ready to dispatch the products. Meanwhile, motorists were stranded in Abuja, Lagos, Kaduna, Kano, and other parts of Nigeria as fresh petrol scarcity hits the country. The situation saw long queues at filling stations across the country as black marketers sell premium products for between 1,200 naira and 2,000 naira per litre. Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, in Rivers State says Port Harcourt, other surroundings areas are unlikely to face the fuel scarcity hitting some parts of the country. Queues have resurfaced in major cities like Lagos and Abuja, snacking into the roads and leaving millions of commuters stranded. But IPMAN in River State said that there is enough fuel stock, dousing fears of queues returning to filling stations in the area. The IPMAN River State Public Relations Officer, Abagwo Ozochukwu, said that the scarcity and price increases observed in some parts of the country stem from the closure of government-regulated depots, limiting access for independent petroleum marketers. Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAMB) has released the 2024 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination (UTME) results. JAMB's registrar Ishak Oloyete announced the release of the UTME results in a press conference held at the board headquarters in Buari on the outskirts of Abuja. According to Oloyete, over 1.94 million candidates registered and sat for the examination in 118 towns and over 700 centers across the country. The examination, which began on Friday, the 19th of April, ended on Monday, the 29th of April. Out of the 1,989,668 registered candidates, 80,810 were absent. A total of 1,904,189 sat the UTME within the 6 days of the examination. He said 1,402,490, which is 76% of the candidates, got below 200. JAMB, however, re-echoed its resolve not to publish the name of the highest scoring candidates. Lagos High Court sitting in Ikeja has deferred till the end of trial its ruling on the application filed by the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, challenging the jurisdiction of the court to try him on the charges brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Through his lawyer, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Olalekan Ojo, Emefiele submitted that he cannot be tried in the High Court of any state in Nigeria for alleged acts of abuse of his office, as this raises issues of constitutionality and legality. The former CBN governor also noted that counts 1 to 4 of the 26 counts charge filed by the EFCC against him are unconstitutional, as they are not contained in any law in Nigeria. His lawyer spoke to newsmen after the court sitting. Alleged terrorist negotiator Tuko Mamu, standing trial for terrorism offenses, has applied to the Federal High Court in Abuja to transfer him out of the custody of the Department of the State Service, DSS. He pleaded with Justice Eyang Ekwo to vary the remand order against him for a remand at Kuje Prison instead of DSS custody. At the resumption of his trial, Mamu, through his lawyer Abdul Mohammed, alleged that the order of the court made on December 19, 2023, that he be allowed access to his physician for medical treatment was not complied with by the DSS. Mamu alleged that the physician had not been allowed to have access to him and he needed urgent surgical operations in any hospital in the country. The judge subsequently fixed May 20 for the ruling. A protest by some Kogi youths at the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission headquarters in Abuja was disrupted by EFCC officers who chased away the protesters. The youths had gathered at the EFCC office in Jabi, Abuja, to protest the alleged persecution of ex-Kogi State Governor Ihejirika, but the EFCC officials dispersed them. The protesters, led by Kogi Youth Coalition, were addressing the media when the EFCC operatives chased them away from their headquarters. They said they staged the protest to counter what they said was an EFCC-sponsored protest in their support, vowed to resist the glaring intimidation, and called on President Bola Tinubu to call EFCC to order. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki has approved a new minimum wage of 70,000 naira for civil servants in the state. The governor reviewed this while commissioning the new labor house in Edo State. He also promised to increase the monthly salary of workers to over 70,000 naira if the federal government approved a new minimum wage for its workers. According to him, the details of the new minimum wage would be made known to the public during the celebration of this year's Workers' Day on Wednesday, May 1. Local government chairmen in Rivers State are asking the Federal High Court in Abuja to compel the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbotakun, and the Director General of the Department of State Services, DSS, Yusuf Bichi, to provide them adequate security for their lives and properties. They claim that under Sections 215 of the 1999 Constitution and Sections 4, 7 and 9 of the Police Act 2020, the IGP, DSS and other security agencies are under statutory obligations and bound to ensure their security and welfare. In an originating summons instituted on their behalf by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mahmood Abubakar, the council chairman also sought order of the court against the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF Lateef Fabemi, not to allow any other laws to be implemented for local government in Rivers State other than the ones enacted by the State House of Assembly. They predicated their fears on alleged threats and boast by the Rivers State government not to implement or enforce the laws made by the State House of Assembly for the local governments. Enugu State Governor Peter Mba is describing the recent attack that resulted in the death of 4 natives of Nimbo in Ozo Owani local government area of the state as unacceptable to his administration. Vowing that enough is enough, Mba assured that the government would track down and bring the attackers to book. He described the attack as a collective tragedy to the entire state, assuring that the government would work with community and security stakeholders to strengthen security not only in Nimbo but also the entire Ozo Owani local government area. This was even as the Nimbo community called for the strengthening of its forest guards and neighborhood watch, stressing that the attackers always come from neighboring states, taking advantage of the remoteness of their community. Imo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja has reserved judgment in the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party and its candidate Samuel Anyanwu, challenging the victory of Hope Uzodinma of the All Progressives Congress in the November 11, 2023 election in the state. The chairman of the tribunal, Justice Akinton Osadebe, announced the adjournment after the PDP adopted their final written addresses asking the tribunal to declare its candidate winner of the re-election. Counsel to Governor Uzodinma Onyeji Ikpeazu, SAN, urged the tribunal to dismiss the petition as the petitioner's allegations was not properly proven. Counsel to the PDP candidate Johnson Osman spoke to newsmen after the court sitting. After the break, we shall return with more stories. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. You are watching Enyimba TV News Update. We now continue with foreign, business, and sports. On foreign story, Togolese voters headed to the polls yesterday to vote in the country's parliamentary elections, which would test support for a proposed new constitution that will scrap future presidential elections and give lawmakers the power to choose the president instead. The opposition and the clergy said the legislation is an effort by President Faure Nasibe to prolong his rule. It was passed by lawmakers in the late March and is close to being enacted. Authorities have cracked down on civic and media freedoms ahead of the vote. In early April, the government banned protests against the proposed new constitution and the arrest of opposition figures. In mid-April, a French journalist who arrived in Togo to cover the election was arrested, assaulted, and expelled. Togo's media regulator subsequently suspended the accreditation process for foreign journalists. The Electoral Commission has also banned the Catholic Church from deploying election observers to monitor the process. Togo has been ruled by the same family for 57 years, initially by Eyadema Nasibe and subsequently by his son. And on business news, the naira further depreciated to 1,350 naira per dollar at the parallel session of the foreign exchange FX market. The current FX rate represents a 2.27% decline from 1,320 naira per dollar traded on April 26. Currency traders known as Bureau de Change (BDC) operators quoted the buying rate at 1,320 naira and the selling rate of 1,350 naira, leaving a profit margin of 30 naira. At the official window, the local currency depreciated by 1.42% to 1,419 naira 11 kobo against the dollar on Monday from 1,399 naira 23 kobo on April 26. And still on business, a Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal, CCPT, sitting in Abuja has restrained Multi-Choice Nigeria Limited from increasing its tariff and cost of products and services scheduled to begin on May 1. The tribunal restrained Multi-Choice from going ahead with the impending price increase schedule to take effect from May 1, pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice filed before it. And on sports, the board of the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, has approved the recommendation of its Technical and Development Committee to appoint Finidi George as head coach of the Super Eagles. George, who is also coach of Enyimba FC of Aba, spent 20 months as assistant to coach Jose Santos Pizarro before the Portuguese voluntarily left the post following the accomplishment of the Africa Cup of Nations runner-up position at Cote d'Ivoire 2023. He took charge of the squad in an interim capacity during 2 friendly matches in Morocco last month. His squad edged Ghana 2-1 in the first match, ending an 18-year winless streak against the Black Stars, but then lost 2-0 to Mali in the second game. George's immediate task will be to guide the Super Eagles to victory in 2 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying matches against South Africa and the Benin Republic in Uyo and Abidjan respectively in a little over 5 weeks. The matches are must-win encounters, with the Super Eagles lagging in third place in Group C of the African campaign behind Rwanda and South Africa. To end the news, here again are the main points. In the news, we told you Senate has embarked on an investigative hearing to address the surge in electricity tariffs within the country. We also told you Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN in Rivers State, says Port Harcourt and other surrounding areas are unlikely to face the fuel scarcity hitting some parts of the country. And we told you Imo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja has reserved judgment in the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party and its candidate Samuel Anyanwu, challenging the victory of Hope Uzodinma of the All Progressives Congress in the November 11, 2023 election in the state. And that's our package for now. Join us for more news updates on this channel. Meanwhile, we urge you to subscribe to this channel, comment on our videos, like and share. We look forward to seeing you next time. On behalf of the production team, my name is Mary Ihejirika. Do have a pleasant day.